You ready now?
Now.
My name is Dowden. I'm 72 years old. I'm trying to pass on some of the things I learned when I was a kid. My dad made a bark whistle for me. And most of the kids my age didn't know how to make them, but I made lots of them. And I've continued to make them over the years. And so I'll pontificate about how various whistles are made. We're going to start out making a cane whistle, but we're going to start by sharpening the knife. I actually prefer an oil stone, but this right here will work. I'm going to take this wet rock, sharpen both sides a little bit. If it hadn't already been sharpened quite a bit, I would need to sharpen it more. But this right here has already been sharpened some, and I haven't used it. And if I were going to cut meat with this knife, it would be totally all right now, because it would grab in and cut. But when you start cutting wood, there will be little fine shards stick up there and cause it to drag on the wood. So I need to take this edge off. And you could use leather. The old timers use leather on their razor, or you can use steel, or you can use glass. I'm going to use glass, which I have at hand. We're going to use my pickup glass. I've rolled my pickup window down partly, and I'll take it down one side and take it down the other side. That process will eliminate a lot of the little jagged pieces of steel that have been left sticking up there, and hopefully it will be sharp enough to do our work. This is not a very well-known technique right here, but it's highly handy because you've always got a car window close by. And now I'm going to test it. Got a little hair on my hand here. I'll see if it'll cut. It cut a little bit. It's hard to see in that, but it did cut some. It could be sharper, but it's good enough for our purpose today. We need to get started. But the most kind of interesting kind of whistle you can make is make a bark whistle. And what you do when you're making a bark whistle, you slip the bark off of it, cut your insides out, then put the bark back on. And it's important. The best bark you can get is white hickory or pignut hickory. The pignut hickory is a little tree that has very small, bitter hickory nuts on them, and then hence the name pignut hickory. And what makes it such a good thing for whistles, it has long distances between the joints generally. Now, where I went to get these trees was up a hollow where there was lots of them, and I picked out one that had a lot of age to it. The older it is, the thicker the bark is. Now this one here is so old that the bark is getting kind of griddled, and I'm not even sure it'll work, but I'll try it. But it's about to die even, so it may not work. But you can see the bark up here slipped off fairly easy, so I'll find out. But this should be the best one ever if it works. So I'm going to start making the front of it, and you always make it, you start on the uphill side of it. The tree stands like this. You make where you're going to pull the bark off from this end. If you cut it where you got to pull the bark off from the other end, then you'll crack it as you come off, because this diameter is slightly smaller up here than it is down there. And I'm going to try this one to see if it works here. If it doesn't work, I've got more that will. I'll cut that dude. It's the oldest even got hollow. So I don't think there's even enough room to make one of that one. Let's go farther down. This tree is so old, it's about to die at a young age. I mean, at a fairly small size. But I think this end of it, I could make it. If I can get the bark off, we'll see. It's thick, hard bark, and it will last a long time if I get it made. It may be too old to even take the bark off. If you saw my previous video about the whistle which I made out of river cane, you see I keep the same general shape. This is the end we're going to blow out of. And we're going to go back about this far on it. We're going to cut around through the bark. This is just an unusually long stretch here. We could make it. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to find one that's got this much open spacing. I'm gonna cut through it good. I'll cut this space here real good. Cut all the way through. I'd make a good clean cut. Try to see if it's lined up with the front now. Asa, you didn't see the one this morning, did you? Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to beat on it to try to get the sap, try to get the bark to come off. And probably next month or in August for sure you couldn't do this. It does better when the sap is kind of coming up. So this is June the 11th, so we should still have enough sap to make this work. It may not. It's a very old piece of wood. Hang on to this, Asa. It's not wanting to come loose. Let me beat on it this way. Sure we got one that worked. Up in there it's just so old and brittle it doesn't want to turn. I'm going to just experiment. I'm going to get my pliers out here and see what it looks like. You know, I'll run it doing this probably, but it's still, I want to see what the insides of that one looks like. Here's the reason it didn't want to go. The part thing's not perfectly round anymore. It's got little bars and stuff on it, which means I couldn't make one down here either. So you can keep that. Give me the knife again. While I've got this out, I'll show you more about hickory. This hickory has a wonderful bark to peel off, and this is too small a stick to do it. But we use the bark on these to put the bottoms in cane bottom chairs. There's one with a long piece of bark sticking on it. Bring it over here, Asa. That one right there. Again, this is not quite big enough. This is more the size used. The people that made the chairs took kind of a little double knife and they ran down the tree and they pulled this off, and this is pretty pliable, while it was still green. They weaved the bottom into the chair. And the old timers, when my ancestors first came to this country in about 1835, it's a long ways to go get supplies, they even used this hickory bark to make a plow line out of. You know, like horses, you're driving a horse, you have a big long leather line. They didn't have any leather available, so they just made it a temporary one out of hickory bark. Meanwhile, I will try a different stick. Here's one that might be somewhat better. It's pretty old too. Maybe I better make one out of a green one. There's another old one. Let me get a green one to make first. Right here, I've got a fairly straight shot. I don't like the way that's. That's the little end. So,
okay.
Yeah, that should be right.
What were you gauging there, Leo?
I was looking to see if I had enough room to build one after I'd mutilated it kind of. Let me cut a little bit of this off so it won't cut me. And this one here's a little too short anyway, so I'll cut this in two so I don't have so much to handle. But I can feel the sap coming out of this. I think this will make a whistle if I've got a long enough piece of wood here. But this is not going to be quite as thick a bark as that real old one is. It'll be fairly thick. But this will still be enough left to make a walking stick out of. By the way, I was talking to my daughter Hannah back in North Carolina a while ago. She says she has a video of me making a whistle. Another one of me skinning a squirrel. I had forgotten about that. But it's still good to put more on. This is very important history for people to learn. Okay, how's that cut? We're going to go back here and cut me a ringer. I almost cut off too much there. It'll be hard for me to get a hold of it now. But I can do it right. Notice I'm going around it twice to make sure I've got it cut through. Because if I start twisting it off and didn't have it cut all the way, then it would cause it to break my bark that I'm going to make my whistle out of. Now then, I've got this notched about to there. I'm going to go back about this far to make the other notch. It still leaves me enough room to work in there. And I'll make a little notch in this, like so. This bark is about half as thick as that we used a while ago. So I've got some more pretty old ones I'll try after I make one on this. Okay, we're going to try to see if we can get that slip off of there. We're in it's kind of dry right now, and we're in the 11th day of July, so there's not going to be as much sap as there was earlier when the leaves first started coming on. But we can do it.
Do you want to use the pliers to beat it?
No.
Yeah, I'll need them in a minute. But if this sap was up really good, you'd see water weeping out this hole. It's not weeping out. So our sap is not just as good a shape as it could be. What you say when you're talking about making a whistle, you say the sap has got to be up. In other words, come up through the roots and come out. There, that one slipped off. Okay, there's the outside of the whistle. Hang on to that, Asa. Now I'll cut the insides out. We'll put it back on. We should have a whistle.
Where's the other one you pulled off? I want to compare the thickness.
Hope we don't make a slip.
You want to show me?
And does it have a real obvious difference?
Just watch this one.
You got enough room left on your tape?
Mm-hmm.
Keep it going. My knife is starting to get just a little bit dull, but I'm not going to sharpen it up anymore right now. You see, I had a whole bundle of sticks I cut there a while ago, so I'll probably dull my knife to some extent. What I will do here now, I'll cut this chamber out so big and I'll test it. And it probably won't be quite to suit me, and I'll cut it out bigger yet. But we'll just show you the different tones. I'm gonna try it pretty quick here without cutting the chamber quite as big as what I will in the back later on in it. Now then, if you're making it according to a lot of directions I've seen, you just take a flat knife like this. You cut a flat hole out there across there to blow through. But you're looking at Leo Dowden here, somebody that's had more experience and knows what he's doing. I take out a little sliver in such a way that when the bark shrinks down and it gets dry, you'll still have a whistle. If you just cut it flat like most people do, then as soon as the bark dries out and flattens, you no longer have a whistle. This one should stay here, hopefully. They're never quite as good. The tone usually changes also after they dry out. This one could last a long time. You probably take that out to California and sell it to somebody. You'll make a bunch of money off of it. They wanted
The boys.
some authentic Ozark whistle.
Now you can make this kind of a whistle out of elderberry. Is that what you said, Leo?
No, the one I make
Oh,
out
the
of,
cane.
the one I make out of elderberry was more similar to the cane one.
Okay.
But there is other kinds of wood that'll make whistle. You may have heard the expression a willow whistle. I think the willow will probably make one. It's not as thick a bark as this. Hickory's the best bark. But there's other things. I've made them out of wild cherry, which is real thin bark, and different things just to experiment.
Yeah.
Give me that whole.
Do you want to see the stick?
I don't want the one that's broken.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to see if we get any noise at all. Let me I'm going to wet that down a little bit so it will slip on better. Not very loud. That means the chamber needs to be bigger, perhaps. We'll find out. Hang on to it. I really expect it to be a little better whistle than that, even with the size chamber we had. We'll find out here. Sometimes you'll make one that looks like it'll be perfect, you won't whistle at all. Sometimes you make one that's so loud that it hurt your ears. And I told on the tape this morning about one time I got 3 different whistles, connected them, so I could blow them all simultaneously, and it harmonized and it sounded like a train whistle. You kids know that's what a train whistle is? It's 3 whistles side by side, blowing different tones, and it makes a different noise. We'll experiment that more. Can you kids whistle? Either one of you? You can. Okay, pull up a little closer, Jessica, or Sadie. We're all 3 going to whistle and see what it sounds like. Can you hear the harmonizing effect there? Okay.
I was whistling good this morning.
Where's that?
I don't got it tonight.
Okay. I hope this will go though.
Whoa!
Still not
Wow.
as good as I'd like though.
That's pretty good.
Sometimes though you get one and you try to improve it and you mess it up, but I'm going to try to improve it.
You are? In what
I've got
way?
lots of material.
You want it
Just
to be
make
louder?
that chamber just a little bit bigger, yeah.
Okay, we only have 3.5 minutes though. At least for the filming.
And another thing I could do, I could make this bigger, but I don't think we better. I think I may mess it up. If we get to blowing, we'll quit when we think we got it good enough. We'll make another one then. Because we need more than one anyway. That's not a bad whistle.